Good guy. We have another guest on the line that we want to talk with, too, or I should say someone called in.
Yeah, we had a caller, and Pat, he told you a word that I had actually not heard before, so I'm looking forward to hearing him explain this word. Now, I've heard of anarcho-capitalism, but the caller today, whose name is Ian, wants to tell us something about anarcho tyranny. So, Ian, you're live on the Morgan Streetman Show. Tell us what you got to say.
Yes, anarcho tyranny was a term that was coined by the late Sam Francis. He was a writer for a bunch of conservative publications back in the 80s and 90s. And basically what it means is the anarchy is for the progressive left and their allies. The people they don't prosecute are all their friends and allies and supporters. So they get the anarchy. They get the total freedom. The tyranny is for people like you and me, Republicans, conservatives, constitutionalists, nationalists, libertarians, for people that are not political and just want to be left the hell alone by everybody. So we get the tyranny when they're in power, i.e. what you guys talked about, in particular with Warren, and what we see nationally with the Soros prosecutors. That's the anarcho-tyranny. And now here's the underpinning of it. Since the progressives thinks that they're the be-all, bend-all, and they represent the better nature of humanity, they're better than us morally. They have the high ground, and their ideas are better. And since history supposedly arcs their way, why, people like us, we're nothing but really Nazis, like the baskets of deplorables. And face it, if you're going up against the Nazis, you throw away the rule book, right?
Well, that's
so
exactly
there's
right.
Your underpinning for anarcho-tyranny. This is how they can justify and rationalize the selective prosecutions, the lack of enforcements, the double standards at L, because, hey, we're the good people, and we're fighting the Nazis. And if we're fighting the Nazis, man, anything goes. Anarcho-tyranny. This is their tactic. There you got it.
Thank you, Ian. Great call. You're exactly right about that. We really appreciate you calling in with that. But that's right. The rules don't apply to them. And, you know, we had another story, and I do want to get to the Trump raid story because I had 2 segments of material on that. But we had some interesting guests this morning that I definitely want to get on the air. So, but I want to circle back to that. But, you know, they've rebranded now because no longer are we talking about the free world. And you'll notice this across all media narrative engineering platforms. The new word choice that they will use is the rules-based world order. Right? They won't even say Western civilization. They won't say the free world. They'll say the rules-based world order. That's what we've got to protect. That's what we're fighting for in Ukraine is the rules-based world order. And folks, I just ask you to ask yourself a question. Do you think those rules apply to everybody, or do you think they apply to just you? Do you think these rules apply to the billionaires in the World Economic Forum? Do you think Klaus Schwab is under any kind of rules, or Jeff Bezos? Do you think they follow any kind of rules? Absolutely not. The rules are for the little people. So the rules-based world order, I mean, it even sounds fascistic, doesn't it? The rules-based world order. Hey, you don't follow the rules, you're going to get your hand smacked by the teacher with the ruler.
So have you heard that before? I guess I just don't listen to enough news, but you hear that.
I picked up on it. That's why I started looking into this, and I found somebody else had heard about it, and there's a little, blog post on it. But exactly, I started hearing them all saying on all the shows the rules-based world order, and I said, okay, well, there's been a terminology change. And you got to wonder, how does the terminology move out between the people that are the narrative engineers and the communicators? How do they get notice of what they are supposed to call things? Like now you're an election denier, right? I mean, they changed the words. And by the way, these things are all run through focus groups. We told you about Anita Dunn coming from the Obama administration, now in the Biden administration as communications person, and who's been studying these, running them through focus groups, what's the most effective ways to communicate these messages, and that's exactly what they're doing. Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard, and if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.